This is the last one on this current issues. There is this whole disappointed, despondent, angry young people who came out of nowhere with perhaps very little political education, who are like Israel and Hamas. They say, we want to kill Mngomezulu. He's in this house. But he's with 58 other people. They would rather bomb the entire house. As long as you are dead inside, it doesn't matter the 53 others. I hope you're following where I'm going.
Yeah.
So that these young people who were operating supposedly under underground forces and everything, frustrated, angry, and maybe with no platform to. How, as a leader now in the MSF, are you going to suggest or are you going to do to handle these things? Because there are two options you're saying: dismiss them, make counterclaims, hear them out, and a variety of other options. How is the best way to deal with such a bad PR disaster like that?
Yeah, if you're in a position of leadership, mawusebuholini vele ubase kufanele ukuthi ngidawuthini uba inkoyoyo. Yeah, ngoba usuke ulapha eDulu engcongwaneni.
Yeah.
So wonke umuntu nakaphakamisa inhloko utawubona wena. Lo munye uphakamisa le nhloko frustrated, ugwadiswe ngethi imgwadisile. Then avela hlohla inhlamba kuwe. Those are the stripes of leadership.
Yeah.
When you are in leadership, you must accept that part of what it means is that your name will be dragged in the mud. There'll be smear campaigns against you. People will scheme. There will be counter mobilization. And some of them actually don't even appreciate the consequences of their actions, let alone the seriousness of some of the things that are being said, and the damage that these things are causing, partly because some of them will not be there to have to pick up the pieces and fix these things. So I'm saying to you, part of being in leadership means you have to go through some of the things that we are now seeing and having to deal with. Leadership everywhere, it happens. And you must accept it and understand it from that prism. The second thing is that when you go through any revolution, there will always be what is called a counter-revolution. So what we've seen the past few weeks, and even now, we are in that phase of the revolution. A counter-revolution. And a counter-revolution always stems from amongst those that you think you are working with. That's the nature of a counter-revolution. Yinzala the counter-revolution nathi sonke. Naba abantwana baka Israel siyatshelwa labo labafunda iBhayibheli baphuma eGibhithe. The first obstacle they face is the Red Sea. They turn against Moses, but vele bosisaphi. Besingakaceli besiphila kahle kunjani njani sebakhumbule boanyanisi baseGibhithe, and they prevailed, but they crossed the Red Sea. When they were in the wilderness, there was another counter-revolution. So when they rose against him, when they had accepted to be taken out of Egypt, and then they faced the first challenge, then Moses is wrong, then Moses unglogu, then I'm sure kube bekumanje what does uyaditshela, who does he think he is, just because yena wakhulele palace la Pharaoh ucabanga ukuthi manje uyi-elite, ucabanga ukuthi manje sitawuva ngaye, all of those things. So that was a counter revolution that Moses had to deal with. In the wilderness he dealt with the same thing. Unfortunately, the counter revolution in his case yakini imbala ngesangasafikwa khona le Canaan. So there's a reason why nabo labantwana baka Israel nasingasebenzisa leyo analogy, they ended up spending 40 days in the wilderness for a distance that otherwise would have taken, what do they say, 3 days? So this is where the mass democratic movement in Swaziland is now. So it's a moment that calls for leadership. It's a moment that calls for cool heads. It's a moment that calls for steady hands and a great degree of tolerance, So this is where where we are right
This is
now.
how you will be judged as leadership.
Absolutely.
dealt with
Absolutely.
this, yeah.
Which is why I'm saying this is where, as a leader, you earn your stripes.
And I'm happy you say this, because the one side is the issue of counter-revolution, which is true. I mean, any state that has faced what it faced, it will respond in any other way. But also the other way of it is the Chris Hani memorandum moment, where genuinely frustrated young people, sometimes acting out of frustration, will do things that are wrong. Are you feeling that we'll also be able to have the kind of leadership foresight that OR Tambo, for example, had, to have accepted some of these concerns, discern what is now is worth engaging on, and give moral high ground, especially to the observers and the people labalapapans. And just lastly, on the same point, is that what about the others who have not gone out as these ones have done, but have a similar frustration, and they're looking at your response, whether or not they can come to you tomorrow and air their frustrations, and mhlawumbe baphume bangcono, bative bangcono, ube more like their petitions of sorts. Or now without counter-revolution, dismiss everything, more or less doing like Temba did, bend the...
I see. Yeah, no, I think it's a good question. Okay, in characterizing the environment that the mass democratic movement is in, and describing it as a counter-revolution, I was giving you my analysis of what I understand the situation that we find ourselves to be. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that is the part that has to do with facts. Whether me sitting here, I can say I know what is being spoken of. So that's the second part. I'm just not so sure that one knows most of what is being spoken about, let alone the fact that it's even difficult to follow some of these things, because I think the way also it is being presented, it's not in a logical sequence, so to speak. But it's fine, fair enough. But one is not in a position then to interact and deal with these things factually, because there's many things that one would not know. And remember what I said to you earlier on, until 29 July 2023, one had no official position other than being Maqede and Mtandene's lawyer.
And a regular commentator.
And a regular commentator that has got views that, yeah. So one would not have been in a position to even know some of the things that are being spoken of, by virtue of the fact that I suppose some things are supposed to be known by those who really are in that pay grade. But also, I think there should be a deliberate, how can I put it? I wish people, let me put it this way, I wish people would not exaggerate my importance.
Yeah.
You know, because I also do not want to end dimendlela lengakati sebendeli.
Yeah.
So if I think you mentioned something about a high table, I mean, what would qualify one to be even in a high table, if there is one? So sometimes you must earn your medals, eh? So and my importance really should not be exaggerated, at least for the period from 28 July 2023 going backwards. Now, to deal with your question then maybe a little bit more pointedly, sengilombuto ke lothi utawenda utabalalela njenga OR Tambo noma utawenda kanjani. Yes, because phela angithi mangabe so ku leadership njengamanje vele you have a duty kulalela wonke umuntu. Now position your leadership, which is the MSF chairpersonship in this case. It is my responsibility to hear everybody. Of course, but you can only hear if you've been approached. I would like to believe I'm very accessible. Nowadays, it's very easy to get anyone. All online media platforms have got my contact details. And so anyone can come and sit, we have coffee and try and understand what issues are there. Where do I come in? What can we do to assist? That sort of thing. But bazilokuhlela amadoda akuyabikwa. So ke ngiyacabanga ukuthi nase ku hlelwe iphasi ngeke kuhlale kungaphumi isisombululo.
Yeah.
So yeah, but ke lokho utawukwenda if kunguthi phela uceliwe then uyabona ngeke uhambe uyofuna abantu longabadi ukuthi ngicela ukukhuluma nani awatnet ufuna abantu.
Yeah.